Welcome to the Deal Room Live and happy Wednesday. How is your energy today? Type it in the chat. What's up, Sue? What's up, Heather? What's up, Alice? Russell, good to see you. Kay, Janet, Diana's a 10. Heather's a 10. Welcome, welcome. All right, we got a lot to cover today. And I want to share this with you. Today's going to be a little different. It is April Fools. April Fools. It is April 1st. We are in the second quarter of the year and time is flying. I want to say hello to a couple of you guys as we get started. Normally I spend the hour leading up to the show deep diving. And by the way, shout out to the team, Brandon and the whole crew. I know Stephanie is hosting a live event. So she's Brandon has jumped in there and filled in the slot. And Brandon, by the way, is incredible. He's incredible at a lot of things. But shout out to the team. And I today, full transparency, because this is a live, so there's no getting around it, no rescheduling it. I had a couple things last minute pop up that I was handling, and so that cut into my normal preparation time. And so I want to say hello to everybody who's on the live stream on YouTube. Stephanie Johnson, how are you? Hello there. Elo, hello there. Hello, Reggie. Good to see you. So I'm going to dial live today. I am going to skip the market update. So every week, what happens on the Deal Room, we do what's called a market update. And the relaunch, I just want to really take this time today and fill you guys in as to what the Deal Room, what is happening on the Deal Room and where it's headed. So number one, as Truka Real Estate, and what Leo and I feel called to build as it's building, you're going to see a continuation of what I enjoy every Wednesday, get to come hang out with you guys. So you guys, as you know, several of you have, I've got it up on my screen now, several of you guys every week submit deals. And I call your deals live. And we get to break down deals. And my objective is on the Deal Room Live that as we break down deals, that you get some clarity of things that you might not otherwise know. You get market updates, you get clarity. By the way, rates did tick back up a little bit, which doesn't bother us at all, because while I expect they will still go back down, right now we're still gathering deeds, taking over low and no interest debts. So that's okay, and it doesn't affect our business in any negative way. I want to ask everybody on YouTube, though, and everybody on Zoom, I want a very unofficial poll here. As rates have ticked back up a little bit, as Iran war ticks on, I hear we have an address coming tonight from President Trump about that, and we'll see what happens from that and what kind of flow over that might get. May next month, Jerome Powell's being replaced. I want to hear from you what on the Deal Room you most enjoy or want to see more of. I'm going to give you a kind of an ABC outline. Would you enjoy more teaching, whiteboarding, breaking down deals, and educational segments, deeds, and mortgages, and understanding flow and lease options and business and KPIs? Would you like more metrics, tactical teaching? That's number one. That's number one. Number two, would you like more live dials? I know we already do that normally an hour about every time, but would you like more live dials? Would you like more guests, or would you like it just like it is? Maybe there's a variation and you want to be somebody who says, I don't want to take A, B, C, or D. I want you to talk about crypto or something. Okay. Not my area of expertise. But number one, do you want to see more teaching, more whiteboarding teaching segments? Number two, do you want to see more live dials? Number three, do you want to see more guests? Number four, do you want to see more or more of the same, I guess you would say? I'm going to share with you some of the restructuring we are working on right now for the Deal Room and what you can expect in the quarter ahead as of right now what is in the agenda. By the way, I see KW Gage says live dials are cool. Icy vibes, one and more guests. Oh, cool. What's up, Jason? Good to see you, brother. More live dials, call, and talk to sellers. I like that. Good. Keep the feedback coming. For something that I do every week here, and it seems like it is very helpful, and I want to continue this, is if you have a question, put it in the chat with a Q in the front of it. Put a Q in the front and put your question, and Brandon will put it on the screen. And so far, we've been able to maintain, and I intend to for as long as I can, answering every single question. So put your questions in the chat with a Q in front of them, and every few minutes I check in with our producer and see if we have any questions to answer. And I want to share one other note with you. Before we get into live dials, we live in a season, and this is so important in my mind because I see so many people who never get started because they talk themselves out of it. They get paralysis analysis. They think about it. They plan to. And then I see people who get started. And this one actually hurts my heart as much as the first one. And I see people who get started and they fall into the trap of building themselves a trap. They think, I'm going to have financial freedom. They do a deal, they get a check, and 3 years later, they look up going, oh my gosh, this thing's eating up my life. And I don't say that to scare you, because those of you who are not that yet there, don't worry about it. Let's go get you some checks, and then we'll worry about automation. But for those of you who are doing deals consistently, be intentional. And this may sound weird coming from a real estate guy, but more is not always better. Because I remember going from 4 deals a month to 10 deals a month, and my revenue increased, and my headaches increased, and my team increased, and my net didn't increase. Now, I say that because I also know that there's a very intentional way you can build this business, like many in our community have, and thank you, God, like we've been able to put together, where it doesn't have to be a brain suck and a time suck and a money suck and suck up your entire life. It can be a joy. It can be surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded. It can be hanging out with winners, and that's why this community exists. And I just challenge you, get really clear on your desired outcome. Get really clear on your desired outcome. And if you know your desired outcome, you'll know what doesn't align with it. In other words, I know people who get really good at doing Bobslow, who get really good at building wealth, who get really good at doing something and it's working, and then out of left field, they decide they're going to go, do something totally new, go launch a crypto company, and God bless you if you want to do that. I'm not hating on crypto. I like crypto. We have some money in crypto, but out of nowhere, they decide to shift gears, and it knocks them down at worst or knocks them back a few months or years at best. That doesn't mean don't try new things. You should try new things for sure. In fact, the only way you grow is to try new things. But I just want to remind you, every segment along the way, pause, check in with yourself and ask, am I building what I stepped into this to build? Am I excited to build it? That doesn't mean we operate off of emotion. Some days you're going to get up and it's going to suck and every seller is going to say no. Some days you're going to hop in and sellers are going to say yes, right, and left, and you're going to love the business. It's just the ebbs and flows. So I'm not talking about just being a slave to our emotion or a good call or a bad call, but I'm talking about being intentional and asking myself, am I doing the things that I desire to do? So we're going to get into some live dials, what you can see, what you can expect, and starting next week, we will be back on the Market Watch update. Next week, we'll be back on Market Watch update. Next week, we're launching the ABCs of real estate. This should be fun, where every week I bring on a letter, 26 of them, and I talk about how it relates to real estate. Maybe it's A and we talk about acquisitions. Maybe it's Q and we talk about quick claim deeds. And so just a fun little way um, to spark the thought, to spark the brain to being creative. Put your questions in the chat. I see we have a couple questions come in. Brandon, you want to put those up on the screen so I can answer them before we get this first live dial on the phone? Getting into the weeds, Carl says, where we can review terms such as a deed. Oh, this is a suggestion, I take it. Such as deed, title, docs we use, how to fill out, how to talk to seller objections. Listening to your live calls is very helpful in a circumstances and owner's need. They are very different. Yes. Way to go. And we do have a lot of resources like that in the circle, in the coaching community for you, Carl. And at the same time, if you're like me, live is better. And so I like that feedback. All right. What's Sue? Sue has a question. What's Sue's question? What's a good tactic when a call is answered by a recording that says they will not answer questions for a secondary caller and not to just tell them your partner will call next? Just have him call in the first place. Good question. So they're probably not your seller. So if that's the tone they lead with, I would chuckle and I would say, well, I respect that. I just want to find out if you'll sell me the darn house or not. What kind of monthly payment would you be looking for? And so I would just cut to the crap because you know the big three: price, monthly, down, and I would just say, look, we're ready and willing to move forward. I'd find out if we're in the same zip code on what the heck we're looking at here as far as price and terms. And if you can be crystal clear about that, then it will be a powerful thing. All right. Any more questions? All right. We're going to go into live dials. Guys, the deal room live dial segment is meant for me to call your deals. So I see several deals that came in. We're going to start off with Reggie. Is Reggie in the house? Reggie has a lead. Looks like Reggie's on YouTube. I'm looking over your deal, Reggie. So first note for you, knowing your yours and Sharon situation and looking to get some deals going, I would say I'm going to call this deal for you 25-acre phase 1 expansion across 59 acres. This is a major project. And when you are looking at a project like this, you are likely looking, if everything goes well, at a 12 to 24 month turnaround. And if crap goes sideways, a 4 to 5 year turnaround. Now, could it be a multi-million-dollar payday? Heck, yes. And then my question is, would you be okay working for 4 years with no pay to hit few million bucks? And the answer is probably not yet. And so just be fully intentional about that, because the likelihood of this deal coming through, a big deal like this coming through, is slim. And then when they do, it's a very long process. So I would challenge you to make we'll call this guy and see what's up on his mind. But know that regardless of whether you did something with it or passed it along or done something, almost certainly get focused back to a single family or a couple single families to get some checks in the bank. Let me know if that makes sense, brother.
Hey, if you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
Andrew calling on the land deal.
Thanks, Andrew. Please stay on the line.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's Andrew calling you. How are you?
I'm blessed. Thank you.
Good. I think you was talking to Reggie on the Fort Morris Road property. Did I catch you at a good time?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have a multi-page proposal here. Is this land you've owned for a long time, or you bought it and got it kind of rezoned and flipped it, or what's kind of the backstory?
See, I bought it. It was Zay's property on my grandmother's great grandfather and great grandfather.
Okay.
And I bought it. I bought them out in 2002, 2003, somewhere around in there.
Mm-hmm. And what are you're looking to get 3.3 out of it, but I seen a venture proposal. Can you kind of explain what you had in mind there?
Financial, I'm sorry, Andrew. I was in between helping this guy put some stuff on his storage truck. I was in the process of moving.
All good. Is now still good, or should we connect later?
No.
All right, cool.
Let me do this. If you don't mind. My daughter, she's like a financial advisor with me and handling it. Would you give me a second? Let me see if I can get her on the call with her.
What's her name?
Terry.
Awesome.
She the one. Yeah,
cool.
She's the one sent you there. Hold on, give me 1 second. Is Andrew on?
That's me.
I mean, not Andrew. I'm sorry, Reggie.
No, he's listening in, but he's not on the call with me.
Okay, good. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get on. Okay, maybe she'll call me back, Andrews. So now, what the question of financial sellers financing? My daughter, she has, from my understanding, seller financing is like a contract to probably give the buyer opportunity to, depending on what you had in mind to do, Andrew. Like I explained it to Reggie. I have been dealing with this since 2022, 23. I did a lot of research myself and my daughter, and the county, talking with the county. The county wants.
So next we're going to be calling some single family houses. This is you're looking to build a bunch of single family houses on this, or what? Okay. So this is apparently a piece of land that he's thinking he can put 125 houses on. And so normally, for anybody new here, we're calling single family houses. This one we starting off with to figure out if it's worth digging into or not.
It's a historical site called Fort Myers, who extend back to the Civil War. So the area is a historical area. Mm-hmm. I think Reggie told me you were from the West Coast, right?
I have a home out here in Cali, but I live in Louisville. So yeah, I'm both places. What do you got you looking to sell it rather than put the 125 homes on yourself?
Finance.
Okay, got it. So you're looking to maybe sell or finance it, sell it basically to a developer, and they build on it, and then you get some of the upside. They get to bring the financing, and it's kind of a win-win. Is that a correct understanding?
That's an option, yes. Or it could be a joint ownership, seller. Buyer buy into the property.
Yeah,
at 50%, and then do the proposal as far as the development.
Got it.
All in the LLC.
Yeah. Okay. And do we have any projections or numbers put together based off of what it's going to cost to develop and what houses in that area are selling for and all of that?
We does. From what Reggie had sent to you in the proposal package.
Yeah.
My daughter had did a proposal on the cost we had decided back a couple of years ago to do when we decided to do a owner financing or a joint ownership. We had decided to do phases on the property.
Yeah.
A, a B, and a C, which we could have taken 25 acres from the road site, and the county is zone Andrew is zone A1. So it's just the paperwork and the process to get it zone A8. So from the county commissioner, once it's zone A8, then the property value goes from one stage to about maybe 39, 40 an acre. So after that point, after that point, the county will allow at the end of the Fort Myers Road, a guy that was along with my father. He had a restaurant down there, and he had 13 acres right there at the end of Fort Myers Road, passing the property. He had 13 acres, so he did some retirement home called the Village of Sunbury. He did it back in 2012. So 6 months, all of
and forgive me. So the 3.3 million. Is that the price after you do phase one and get all the legal done and all the approvals done, or that's the price just for the A1 dirt?
No. And that's the price if I was to sell it straight out.
Got it. Okay.
And that price could be negotiable. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to sell it out, straight out if we can get a team together and work together as a 50% ownership.
Of course. Okay. All right. I got my head wrapped around this now. I'm going to put a pen to paper and we'll let you know if we have some more questions on it. I'm very familiar with the process, and now I think I understand where this one is. I just went through the same process on one of our Indiana deals. So very, very familiar with that. So I appreciate your time, brother.
Right.
All right.
Okay. We'll be hearing back. Okay. Andrew, we appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye. All right. So, my opinion of this deal. So this is an 84-acre plot, Reggie. This is an 84-acre plot. I know there's a crap ton more questions. If there's any commercial people on the call, you're going, why didn't you ask all the questions? Because I had all the info I need to know. They had the property listed for $500,000. It didn't sell. They pulled it off, and then they put together, it's an AI written, ChatGPT written 8-page synopsis, and up the price to $3.3 million to allow room to partner someone in. So very commonly, for anybody who is single family only on here or new, what happens when a land gets rezoned or approved, permitted for building houses is the value goes way up. And I'm not suggesting it 84 acres is or isn't worth 3.3 million, but I have a hard time believing that it's worth 3.3 million as is, but it was only worth 500,000 2019. I think they've priced it based on the approvals being done. Because when, for example, we have a piece of land, approvals get done, and they immediately up the price. What they're looking for is a unicorn, number one. And they exist. I'm not suggesting they don't exist. They absolutely do. There's a lot of groundwork, and I don't have time for a 4-day seminar in this one call, but I will tell you there's a lot of groundwork in assembling, and you heard him say the exact words, if we can put together the team, which is exactly what needs to happen here. But if a developer comes in and they contribute, let's say it really is worth 3.3, and that's generous. I don't think it is. Let's say it really is worth 3.3. They contribute the $3.3 million of land, and a developer comes in and contributes 5 times that much. What's 225 homes times, let's say 300. 225 times 300,000 equals $67 million. Who here thinks if a developer funds $67 million worth and they fund 3.3, any developer in the right mind is going to give them half for contributing the land? The answer would be heck no. No one's going to freaking do that. And so they're looking for a unicorn. They're looking for a dream to come true. And assuming that you have the team assembled and you want to develop a couple hundred houses, this could be a great play for that. And you bring them to reality. But I see no reason to bring them to reality, because even if they said, oh, you're right, it's not worth that, we'll contribute it as a 1.2 million purchase price. All the work between here to assembling the team, to building the homes, to putting together the team to sell the homes, I don't have the bandwidth to take on that size of project right now at that level. And it would just be throwing some time into something that I know wouldn't be being completed. Let me know if that makes sense. All right. Any questions in the chats, Brandon, before we get to the next live seller call? It's going to be Tim's lead on Helen Street. Any questions, Brandon? Where'd my Zoom go? Oh, here we are. Nancy. What's up, Nancy? If seller says he will give 3 houses on seller financing for a total of 50 down, would we analyze each house separately, figure the net income of 3 houses, and decide if 50K down is worth it? Yes, to answer the question in short, is 16, whatever that math is, $16,700 per house down payment per house worth it to you, is the first question I would be asking. Second, though, depending on the price ranges of these houses, Nancy, often what I do is I analyze them each separately. And I don't know, have any idea the price you're buying, but let's say you're paying $500,000 for the portfolio and he wants 50 down. If the math works, what I have done sometimes is I will look at the 3 houses. I will give them 50,000 down simultaneous with selling. I will wholesale the first house, which pays them off, gives them their 50K, and puts money in my pocket, even possibly. And then I will let them finance the other 2 houses 100%. Now, for some of you who've done a bunch of deals, you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense. For some of you who are new, you're like, what the heck did you just say? And I'm cool with that. I want, though, some follow-up questions. Nancy, if you was to allow the first house to be sold to give the seller their down payment.
Hey, Siri.
And you were.
Hey, Siri.
And you were to, if you were to sell the first house to get the down payment for the seller and the remaining houses they was to finance, does that statement make sense to you, Nancy? Let me know in the chat. All right, keep the questions coming. Any questions you have? What's up, Jerry? Good to see you, brother. What's up? Cash Rich 1. Good name. What's up, Vernine? Good to see you. Nancy, Jason, Reggie, good to see you. Good crew. I need a sip of coffee, so let me know in the chats what you're drinking right now. What are you drinking? Sip of coffee out of my Truka mug. Heather's drinking the hot tea. That's awesome. Just had, right before this, a cup of tea, smoky tea from Japan. Diana's drinking sparkling water. Good. Tim's drinking Coke Zero. Heck yeah. Watching the YouTube chats here. Keep the comments coming, by the way. Give me all of you on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're liking the video. Make sure that you are commenting. Helps with the algorithm as we spread the message of generational wealth to the world together. All right. We have a live dial. What's up, Patty? So good to see you. You're drinking Smoothie King. I see you. All right. Next is Tim's lead. This is Helen Street.
Hello. Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
Andrew calling on the Helen Street house.
Thank you very much for calling. I'm sorry I missed your call. Please leave your name and your number after the.
Sounds like one of those large investor pools from out of state where they buy the houses that need a bunch of work. Every once in a while, you'll see those signs out front. They'll buy houses that need a lot of work for pennies on the dollar, and then they'll put them up and offer owner financing. That's what this deal, Tim, if you're on here, reminds me of. All right, let's call Julie. Julie on Smith Road. Anya, if you could update the sheet for me. Thank you so much. See if we get somebody on the phones. Want to close a deal. What's up, Kay? You submitted a deal, didn't you? Tony. Long time follow-up.
We're sorry, you have.
All right, we're going to call Ephraim. This is Diane's lead, Bald Knob Road. Hey, you're in Judy's neck of the woods. Toughest part of calling sellers is getting them on the freaking phones. We'll pause and teach some lessons if somebody don't answer soon. Green teeth. Pepsi, lemonade, Trader Joe's chai tea. Oh, I like it. Water, Reggie's drinking water. Some electrolytes here. Put your questions in the chat. Brings up the energy. All right, next we're calling Kay's lead. This is Tony on Riverview Road. Do one more, and I got some more things to share, and then we'll try another round.
Hello.
Hey, it's Andrew calling you back on the Riverview Roadhouse. How you doing?
Okay.
Good. I think you talked to my partner, Kay, and I had a couple more questions for you. My understanding is you was hoping to get around 100,000 cash out of it. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And is it currently rented or is it empty?
Yes.
Okay. How much are they paying?
800.
800. Okay. Any clue what the house would appraise for or be worth?
I'm not sure. I think more than I'm asking for.
Okay. All right. And what kind of shapes it in? Does it need a lot of work, or it's like roof, central heat and air, paint, carpet? What all would it need if the tenant moved out?
The roof's in good shape. It's just a few years old. It's a metal roof.
Okay.
The exterior is brick. And the soffit probably needs covered or replaced. That's,
Yeah.
And the windows probably need updating, replaced. Just they're pretty old. The house was built in the 70s. So
Yeah. Okay. Is it a metal roof?
yeah.
Okay.
And the heat and air, yeah.
It was replaced a couple years ago.
Okay. If we was to, how much is taxes and insurance on it right now?
Oh, I don't know. Taxes are probably about 700. I mean, you can look that up.
You don't know what the taxes and insurance are?
I mean, not exactly. I'm thinking the taxes are around 700.
Okay.
And the insurance, of course, it's just renter insurance, so it's a little bit cheaper. But I mean, the house is insured, but I guess when we rent it out,
pay for homeowners insurance. That was my question.
Yeah, I think that was around 800.
800. Okay. All right. So, all right. And you have a mortgage on it, or is it free and clear?
It's free and clear.
Would you be willing, if we was willing to pay you the 100, and be responsible for the maintenance, repairs, and taxes and insurance and the tenants, would you be willing to do some owner financing? Let us pay you every month until we paid you off the 100K in full.
I'm not really wanting to do that. I'm 74 years old. I'm just trying to get out. I'm tired of fooling with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If you would give us a little time, like if we bought it and closed on it with our real estate attorney, for the $100,000, no realtor fees, because we're not realtors, and we buy it directly from you. Like, if you were to give us a little time, how long would you might consider giving us?
What do you mean, give me some time?
Like, where we buy it from you and then pay you every month and then pay you out at X.
I'm not interested in doing one.
Oh, got it. All cash or nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. If we just paid like cash for it and close whenever you wanted, what's the absolute least you would take on purchase price?
I'm asking 100,000 for it.
Uh-huh.
It's going to take several thousand to get, if I was going to do it, I would remodel the kitchen and the bathroom.
Yeah.
Put new flooring in it and some paint. And it's probably going to be worth close to 300,000.
300. Okay.
I think. And just what I've seen other houses go for.
Yeah. Okay.
If the kitchen was updated and the bathroom was updated and the carpet replaced or whatever kind of flooring you want to put in it and some paint, it'd be in pretty good shape.
How would you entertain an offer at 85 cash?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. How close to that?
I'm really wanting 100,000.
Yeah. I'm not a realtor, just so you know, so there's no 6% fees or commissions. And
I know.
I'd close with a real estate attorney, but I'd pay your closing costs in mine. So whatever we agree on is what you actually get. What's the least you could take below 100?
I'm not going to really entertain an offer like that.
Okay. So if I wrote you up a purchase agreement at 99, you'd say no?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Okay. $1,000 is important. I respect that. Okay. Is this the only one you got, or you got more you're looking to sell?
No, that's the only house I got. The one I'm living in. I guess I better keep it.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Okay. All right. Well, where do you have, like having you mentioned that 300 number. I mean, if it was really worth that, I'd give you 100 tomorrow. I'm not sure on that number. Where did you get that number? Do you have any like comps or appraisal or anything?
No, I'm just what the prices of houses around go for.
Yeah.
So I'm going by.
Okay. That's
Oh,
fair.
how it is.
All right. All right. Well,
And it's a good neighborhood. It's got a nice lot, level lot.
yeah, that makes sense. Okay. All right. Let me and Kay punch some numbers on this. And if we did, not saying we are, but if we did come back ready to buy it at 100, like, are you ready to move forward?
Yeah,
Okay. You sure you want to sell it and everything?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm tired of fooling with it.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm 74 and I'm kind of fixing things up there.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Okay.
The nice storm was treacherous and knocked down a lot of trees. I had to pay somebody to get rid of all the trees in the yard.
How long's your tenant been there?
He's been there probably 4 or 5 years.
Okay. All right. Does he have a lease or is he month to month?
No, it's a woman and her 2 kids. She just pays by the month.
Okay.
No, there's no police.
Okay. All right. Well, we're definitely interested in it, but let me take that, and me and Kay are gonna run some numbers. We're deciding which one we want to buy next. So this is in the top runnings. So let me and Kay have our chat tonight, and then Kay will give you a call back either probably tomorrow afternoon, either tomorrow or Friday. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, brother. Good talking to you.
You too. Bye.
All right. So that is an obvious no for terms, but I don't know. Okay. I'm looking at the area. It's in the country, which I don't mind rural areas. I like rural areas, but I don't like rural areas of areas I don't know because, if we're looking at the outskirt, quite a long ways from Nashville there. Kay, I don't know how familiar are you with this area, but the Zestimate's 181. The rent Zestimate's 1,400. I'm looking at all the stuff around it. I don't see anything for sale below 200. Almost everything is 275, 365, 375, and then all the way up to 900. Again, rural areas make it really weird. Kay, if you have a desire to own a house in that area, I would write him up a contract for 100 grand and get me an appraiser out there and find out what the heck's it's worth. You may have yourself a $200,000 or $250,000 house on hand for 100K. Now, there's something to talk about. You guys will want to note down. Put your questions in the chat. Put a Q in the front of them. Keep the energy hopping. I appreciate you guys being here and on the Deal Room Live. Every week, I come and I give you the good and the bad and the ugly. We give a market report. We're going to be doing an ABCs of real estate. Many weeks we have a guest I wanted to use today for an announcement talking about the vision of this quarter, what we're going to be doing with the Deal Room and how you can plug in and utilize it. Also, just let my team know if you want to be considered to be one of the guests and show up and we have an interactive chat. I always do that, and I answer all your questions. So put your questions in the chat with a Q in the front of them. And a deal like this comes along. If you want to buy it for 100K and you want to lease option it, it's a very real possibility. Assuming that you have some connects to get somebody out there. And there is sellability and there's value. Sellability and there's value. For example, I have a 1-bed, 1-bath, little rinky-dink house and somewhere in God knows where, Indiana. And value on that little rinky-dink house is probably 5 times what I paid for it. But sellability is tougher because it takes a very intentional, specific person to want to buy a 1-bedroom house. So you're cutting out, generally speaking, I'm just speaking super generally here. It's not likely going to be a family buy this house. It's not likely going to be a couple who has a bunch of stuff stored to buy this house. It's not likely going to be a single mom buy this house. it's most likely going to be a single person who has no family or very little family, lives alone. So if you know that's likely your buyer pool, you know you just took out from the several million people looking for houses or several hundred looking for houses in this area and narrowed it down to a handful. Now, the good news is you only need one buyer per house. And in this case, Kay, this is an area that I like. I think out there in Tennessee is good, but I don't have other stuff out there, and I am always hesitant to buy some one-off random deal out in the middle of the country somewhere where I don't intend to buy more houses. If I was to buy this house, Kay, if I was to contract it for 100 and I was to sell it, what I would lean toward doing would be after I bought it for 100 cash, if it's really worth 200 plus, I would sell it on contract for 200 or owner financing. Normally we sell on lease option. I would do my background research. I would be the bank and I would sell the darn thing on owner financing, and I would actually carry a note on it. I never have to see the house again. I just get to enjoy the cash flow on it until they pay me off at X amount of years in the future. That would be my play with this one, to have zero management, zero worries, only if it was worth the risk, because it's worth twice of what you're paying. All right. Let me know any questions you have, Kay. Of course, you can ask on here or you can text me. Who else has a question? Brandon, do we have any questions in the chats, my brother?
No question at the moment.
What about on YouTube? Is there any questions on YouTube? Nowhere. Okay. Thank you, Brandon. I'm going to read some YouTube comments. How do you structure this owner financing deal? What's up, Joseph? Add some context to that question. Put a Q in front of it, and we'll put it up on the screen. Jason, the guy's tough. He's not budging. Yeah, you're right. He wasn't budging. I would like to get a hold of a certified broker. Awesome, Troy. You're around a bunch of real estate investors, so you're in the right place, man. If you're talking about a loan broker, that's one thing. Cool. Just let us know that. We got lots of connects. And if you're talking about like realtor brokers, and that's another one. In fact, there's a bunch of those around the community. Joseph says, I just got on. This is how would I structure this owner finance? So good question. That was a deal. He said no to owner financing, Joseph. If you're asking me how I would structure selling it on owner finance, I would buy it for 100K cash, institutional money, bank money, your cash, business credit lines cash. I would sell it owner financing for as much down as I could get. So assuming a value as is of 200, I would turn around and I would put it up owner financing. I would probably anticipating getting between 20 and 40 down, and I would allow somebody to buy it from me. And here's the math I want you to think about. All right. Is imagine you buy this thing for 100 and you sell it for 200 with 40 down. You only have 60K tied up in the thing. Now, of course, we can talk about how to use debt to get your 100 and not even have to come up with the 100. And then the 40K is actually profit, getting your equity up front. But if you're sitting on a pile of cash and you're looking to invest, you only have 60K in this thing before you even use leverage. And now you're getting monthly payments. Gosh, your return on that 60K, although you're only charging the seller on the 200,000, maybe 8 or 9% interest, returns on that 60K right now might be, if you figure in the markup in price plus the interest, you might be getting returns annually of 30 or 40% or more. All right. We can break that down in the future. By the way, just ask what you want. I want to find out what you want and break it down for you. So we're going to try a couple more dials. I want to give you this philosophy that's going to help you tremendously in your real estate investing business and career. As you're doing deals, ask yourself on every single deal, does this take me closer to my goal? The only way you know that answer is if you know what the heck your goal is. For example, that deal right there, if Kay says my only goal is to get cash now upfront quickly, wholesale or non-refundable option deposits, then this house would be a pass. However, if Kay says, hey, I'm good to take a little bit of time to add some legacy wealth, then we should absolutely pursue this deal. It's worth it. For example, if Reggie says my goal is to make $5 or $10 million in 5 years, then we absolutely should find a huge project like this, do a lot of research, a lot of study, find the right partners, and spend months assembling a team to put a deal like this together. If your objective is to get to a freedom number, which, by the way, unless you're already, for all of you, sitting on legacy wealth of sorts or an incredible amount of income, I challenge you, like, make real estate start paying you 10 or 20 or 30K a month. It's a great legacy wealth vehicle builder, but it's also and this is a foundational shift for some of your minds I want to give you before we do more calls. The whole point of the deal room, team, is for our Truka community to be able to submit deals, have me call deals with you, underwrite deals with you, and do deals together. And the whole objective is for the world, for our YouTube live stream and Facebook and everywhere, to be able to watch that process and gain some traction to go do your own deals. And if we do that, and we're building that foundation, it only comes back every single time to, is what we're doing helping you accomplish your mission? Are you moving toward your goal because you're doing these deals? And so often people get into real estate like I did, and they're starry-eyed because they heard at a seminar that you could make a bunch of money in real estate. And I love real estate, and I love seminars, by the way. And I love both of those things, but I had a different perspective. I didn't understand that there is a wealth building aspect of real estate. Many ways you get paid on that. And that's appreciation, that's depreciation, that's long-term growth, that's tax write-offs, that's a whole bunch of cool things over here that pay you, the silent underground. But that doesn't pay the bills this month. Depreciation and appreciation and growth and tax write-offs doesn't make 100K get wired into your account in March. It just means if you hold properties for a long time, you get rich. And I share that because the wealth building side is a huge aspect. I know a lot of rich people that use that side. And then there is a cash side. Every time a deal is transacted, a bunch of people are getting paid. Realtors often get paid, brokers get paid, often lenders get paid, often title companies get paid, closing attorneys get paid, often people get paid for putting deals together. All sorts of transactional value is happening over here. And so if you know your objective is to build legacy wealth, and you also know that where your cash accounts are, some of you are going, gosh, I don't mind if it does or don't pay me now, as long as I'm creating wealth and I'm creating 7 figures of net worth to my net worth every year or 2 or 3. Others of you are going, gosh, I need it to pay me 10 or 20K a month. And that's where the advice, the noise, and that's why I have the deal room, because I want you guys to understand both of these things as we structure deals, because that's where the advice gets fuzzy, right? Because you talk to me or you talk to Judy, who might know your goals and say, yeah, you should absolutely just sell the darn thing. And then you turn on somebody else on YouTube who doesn't know your goals, and they're going, you would be an idiot to sell the house and only make 10K. You could make 50K over 3 years. And it's like, maybe I'll keep it. And so all of this chaos can start to happen in our brain. So know your goal, and then follow the path that reaches your goal. And for me, what I did is I call it my break-even time. So I started doing the math years ago when I started in real estate. And I quickly realized that in order to get lead flow consistently, in order to have my office paid for, and in order to have my phone system, my baseline expenses was about $6,000 a month. So I knew my break even $6,000 a month. Well, if Andrew years ago wanted $5,000 a month, that means what's 6 plus 5? Somebody help me out in the chats. I was homeschooled. 11. $11,000 a month. Heather is on it. And $11,000 a month. So if I know my break even is $11,000 a month, my job on the first of every month, it's April 1st right now. It's starting in the second quarter. My job on the first of every month is to get to 11K as fast as possible. This is just the way my brain broke it down. As soon as I get to 11K, if it takes me 4 weeks, I have no time to build wealth this month. I need to go get my next 11K. So what I started doing was shortening the time it took me to make my 11K. I said, well, gosh, can I make 11K in 3 weeks? Gosh, can I make 11K in 2 weeks? Until the first week of the month, I would have the pipeline stack. I would go get my 11K. I am now at a break even for the month, and I would have the rest of the month to build legacy wealth. Now, there's all sorts of variations and versions of that you can do for yourself, depending on where your cash accounts are and all of that. That underground, that back part, the under the water segment of your life. But if you start to think in that way, it starts to make more sense. There is the cash side of this business, and I am focused. For me, it was from the first of the month till I crossed 11K. I was focused on cash only. Didn't matter if I was giving up a future big payday. Didn't matter. None of that. I just got to get to 11K. Enrod, wholesale fee, whatever it is. Then this side of the business, I get to go build legacy wealth. All right. I trust that's prompted some thoughts, and that's what this is to do. And we're going to see if we can get another settler or two on the phone today. But I want to look in the chats and find out if there's any more questions in the chats. What's up, Jason? What's up, Troy? Good crew. All right. Any other questions that we have roaming around here, Brandon? Make sure when you put your questions, you put a Q in the front of them so Brandon can easily find them.
No
Going
questions
once.
at the moment.
Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you, brother.
Got you. Oh, we got a comment.
All right. Not really a question, but I love that way of thinking. Super appreciate. You're welcome. Been working, because of the way my brain works, to make complex thoughts simple. Not that I've always done a good job of that, but that's my objective. All right, let's get they didn't answer. Let me see. We're going to try 2 more leads. We're going to call line item 242. We're going to call Russell on West 7th. This is for nose lead.
You're muted. Need to do it, you can spend as little or as much as you want. We figure if we spend 20 grand on it, that would be excessive. But that would be hiring it all done. We just don't want it as we're going to.
Gosh, that was a good call going too. Thank you, team. What do you think it would appraise for once we put the 20K into it?
We've got comps about 135 to 150.
And then on if we was to do the owner finance route, because we buy house two ways. Sounds like you're an investor too. You know, we do pay cash below value and fix and flip, or a lot of times if they need just cosmetic, we'll buy them and do it under finance and then we'll sell them down. But what's the taxes?
About 175 a month.
75 a month. And then once we fixed it up, what do you think it would rent for?
We'd say about 11 to 1200.
11 to 1200.
We put an ad in. We put an ad in for rentals, and we probably had a dozen people want it, but nobody wanted to, take it the way it was because it was a little bit rougher.
Yeah.
We said, well, we get it up in pretty good shape. If you want to pay 1200, I said we jump on it at 1200.
Yeah. Okay.
So
if we was
yeah,
it makes sense. Yeah, it's a good time for sure. Is this the only one you're looking to get rid of? Or you got a few more you're thinking of?
Okay. No, that's the only one we've got.
Okay, cool. So if you was to owner finance this, 825 to it. So I'm not a realtor, so there's no commissions or that. Is there some flexibility on that monthly payment? Knowing that we gotta take some time to put money into it for the maintenance, repairs, taxes, and insurance.
Well, we were looking at a deal I wanted to do, and he was going to give us $8 grand down, no payments for 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
So that he wouldn't have an ongoing, but that he would have the time to fix it up and, put it back on the market, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay.
And like I said, depends on how much your contractors work for and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Okay. If we were to pay cash, no realtor fees, no closing costs, would you be able to do 70,000?
No, we turned down 70. It has to be about 76, 77, somewhere at least in there.
All right.
I know that's a little bit tight, but everything's got a price on it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I get it. You do investments. I also know what it's like to just want to get one off your plate, but to only be willing to do to do that. So I respect that. Okay. How this area is this an area that if decided to sell it at some point that they sell quite quickly?
I would think so. I mean, it's a lower class, as it were. But then again, it's only 100 grand, 150-ish. So, someone would buy it, because of FHA financing nowadays. At this point, it's not that you wouldn't get a loan on it. You couldn't.
Of course.
It'd have to be a hard money loan. But I would imagine if you did, some work to it and made it look real pretty, so to speak, it wouldn't be a problem selling it to someone getting a loan.
Okay. Cool. Forgive me if you said this and I got lost in my writing down what you were talking about. Did you say how old the central heat and air is?
Is that what?
Did you say how old the central heat and air is?
And 2 years ago, we replaced the furnace.
That's right. 2 years.
I'm pretty sure it's just heater. It's not, it doesn't have AC in it.
Got it. All right. Well, I think that answers my questions. Is there on a lockbox? If we want to go take a stroll through it?
Yeah.
Okay, on a lockbox. All right. Me and Tim are going to rendezvous on this, and then he's going to text you, and we'll tell you what we're at. But we put an offer in at 75 or 6. It sounds like it would be at least in the running.
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool.
Of your offer. Yeah, we consider it.
Of course. Okay. All right. Good talking to you. And what was your name, brother? Eric?
Yep.
Awesome, Eric. My name's Andrew. My partner's Tim, and we'll look forward to reconnecting with you tomorrow sometime. All right.
Good.
Thank you, brother. All right. Bye-bye. All right. So notice this is a house that is, this is what's interesting. The two next to it just sold for, I say just, I didn't actually see what dates they were, but I noticed they sold for 170 something and 180 something. And the one for 170 something is the same square footage. So that's a very interesting piece. I noticed a house one block down is for sale for 139. So this is the stuff I'm looking at while I'm on live with this guy. And I see it's hit and miss. There's 200,000, there's 130, there's 110. The fact that this has been on the market a while and not sold, it says something. It's been 100 days on Zillow. And so I think you could likely buy this thing for in the low 70s, mid 70s, 75,000. Now, Andrew, why would you not take the owner financing? Well, you could buy it and offer him maybe 80,000 with 5 down and 700 a month or 600 a month. Sounds like he's open to even no payments for a while. That's a very real possibility. And if it's an area I knew there, my mind goes into three ways to structure this deal. Okay. There is 3 ways to structure this deal. I'm going to lay them out for you. If you have a notepad in front of you, you can write these down. The first way that I consider structuring this deal is the simplest way. Contract it for 75,000. Tim, get with your coach, contract this thing for 75,000, assuming that the numbers check out, do a little more deep diving, and then determine, assuming you can resell it. For some reason, he's not sold it at 95. So that's of concern, right? And at the same time, if you buy it for 75 and it truly only needs 20 in work, which is probably where the rub's going to come in, right? Is that actually the number? And you're all in for, in that case, 95. And it really is worth 150 on quick math. Again, I've done 2 minutes of research. So this is, you got to deep dive on this one and spend 10 minutes getting into the numbers. Then you have yourself a really good potential deal right there. Like, I'm in for being in a house for 100 grand that appraises for 150. I'll pay cash for that deal. So that's a real good win, Tim, where you might pick it up for 75 and sell it real quick for 85 and get you a quick 10 or 15. Very possible. Next, a way that I've done it before is let's assume instead of his numbers at 5 down, he already offered 5,000 down, 700 a month, $95,000 purchase price. You guys heard that, right? So instead, let's say we get that down to 80,000 purchase price, nothing per month. He already sounded like he would take 8,000 down and nothing per month. If that's the case, and it's an area where what I've done before is I will buy a house like this with really good terms. No interest, no payments, 8,000 down. And I will call one of my guys that buy in that area. And this is where a buyer's list adds up so much. And Tim, you'd have to find that buyer. After you close, find you a buyer and sell it on owner financing for 8 or 10 down for 9 or 10% interest at 120. Now you make a little bit up front. You make every month you're getting a payment from your buyer, and on the back end you get a little bit of money. So you're making interest on no interest money you just borrowed. So you get that payday. It's a very real way you could turn this thing into a possibility. Thirdly, as long as it's livable and it looks like and sounds like it is, you could just buy the darn thing owner financing and sell at lease option like we do. But if it's a area that is up and coming, as they say, and it is a house that is a little rough, which it is, finding a quality tenant buyer to move into that house as is, that excited to do the work, is back to value versus sellability. And finding that person will require a lot of work. And unless you're highly skilled in finding those people already, I don't recommend that you start on a deal that has that uphill climb. So that's why I didn't say immediately, yes, Boslow it. I think you should either buy it and resell it for more, assuming the numbers are there. I think you should buy it and owner finance and sell it owner finance if the numbers are there. All right. I know those are unique deals today, but I share that again because Bobslow is the baseline for everything we do. And then everything we do beyond that varies out by solving sellers' problems and finding solutions. All right. Any other questions? Probably the question is, what'd you say on the first half of that call while you was muted? Any other questions you have? Put a Q and a question in the chat. Seller's name was Eric. Tim, get with your coach on that and do some deep diving in that. It looks, I wouldn't be, neither of those deals are deals that I'm like, oh my gosh, you're going to make $50,000 tomorrow. But they're both deals that are okay deals and structured right. I've had a lot of okay deals pay me $30,000 and $40,000 and $50,000 over a period of years because they were structured right. All right, guys, we are going to be doing a market update next week. We're going to be doing a letter of the week next week. We're going to be doing some more training. We're going to be doing live dials. And we're going to have a very fun guest next week. We got a lot to cover, a lot to do. It is the second quarter, and I want to give you an action step because I don't want you to just show up and hear some cool things. I want to give you a actual action step. Somebody said deferred payments. I want you to note that down, by the way. That's what this is all about. Deferred payments. I didn't even ask him for it. He just suggested it. Don't pay me for a year. Okay, we can make that work. Like, this is a very common thing for those types of deals. And this is where sellers get hung up on things. I'm going to give you some action steps. Sellers get hung up on things, and it's your job to not get hung up on things. For example, I want to buy that darn thing with nothing down. But nothing down and $700 a month to me is the same darn difference of giving them $8,000 down and nothing a month for a year. Make sense? And so don't get hung up on what's not important to them and come to impasses on deals that are great deals because you're not able to see around the corner to the thing that they actually want or need. All right? So your action steps this week. Make sure between now and next Wednesday that you, number one, are talking to 3 sellers minimum every single day. Number 2, every one of you who are in coaching land. I have right now 30 people in this Zoom, and that's me and a couple of teams, so 28. I want every one of you to submit me a deal next week. I want the deal room next week to be 3 hours. I want everybody to get so freaking excited for me to get to their deal. All right. And I'm telling you, we'll probably need a couple little breaks in the meantime. But we'll have little 60-second promos that we'll play, and we'll keep going until we get those, till we get a bunch of properties done. All right. So every one of you, I genuinely, I want you to submit me a deal because there's something special you learn about watching Tim's deal. There's something special you learn watching K deal, but there's something extra special you learn watching your own darn deal. Can I get an amen? All right. So if you're in coaching land, if you're in the Zooms, then submit your deal. Those are your 2 action steps. And then this is probably the biggest piece of all. This is very, 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 very important. Set a 90-day objective for the second quarter of this year. It is the second quarter of 2026. That's crazy. We were just hanging out together saying it's the first of the year. Now it's 25% gone. And I want you to become intentional. What do I want to use this quarter for? Life goes by so quickly. And as it does, I want to point out every quarter, every year flies by, and we have opportunities to determine what the heck we're going to use that for. Use this quarter to serve your growth. What do I want to use this quarter for? So I'll give you an example. It's very common. We'll come to a quarter and I'll say, I'm going to use this quarter to build X team. I'm going to use this quarter to build X runway to get X cash from X deals and move this needle. Like if you know this quarter is to get you, for some of you, it's just get your first deal. Get your first box flow deal. Some of you, this quarter is, how do I get proficient on the phone? I already had a deal or two or three, but I really want to wrap my head around this sales process to how to talk to a seller. Some of you have a house and you're going, I just want to wrap my head around this lease option process. Determine what you want to learn, and then use this quarter for that. And as part of that learning, I challenge you, focus in learning from someone who you trust their leadership to guide you, and read a certain book. Every one of you, pick a great book. If you need recommends, I'll recommend, but pick a great book and read that. All right? You're in the right place. Growth is happening. I appreciate everyone. Oh, I have a note. Anya, are you on here? Anya. Yes, Anya is right here. Anya, let's get in the chats. If you are in the Zoom room, you already have tickets to the May event, May 15, 16, and 17, Truka RE and Cincinnati, Ohio. And just so you know, for those of you who are booking your hotel, it's technically Kentucky. Okay. So if you see Covington, Kentucky address, you're right. You're thinking right. All right. And by the way, if you're flying and not driving, you fly into the Cincinnati airport, which is in the Ohio side. Anya, can we get that link in the chat for the Zoom room to confirm their attendance to that event? And can we get, for everyone on YouTube land, can we get a link so they can request a ticket and the sales team can reach out and get them registered? All right, we're going to hang out here another 2 or 3 minutes, let those links come in. Let me make sure we got the right ones up here for you. 1 second. There we are. All right. So for all of you in Zoom land, go to that link I just put for you and confirm. And for all of you in YouTube land, go to the link that you now have in your YouTube chat to request tickets. The link for those of you who are wanting to request tickets, for anybody who's watching the replay, and if the link is not showing up in the chat, if you don't already have tickets and you want to request tickets, all you got to do is fill out the form at request.truka.com. Thank you so much, Brandon. You're amazing. So for all of you who already have tickets, confirm you're coming. Come hang out with us for 3 entire days. We're introducing you to our private lenders and deals and deal makers and lead sources and connecting and winning together. It is an experience that you're going to love. For those of you who are new to the world, thank you for being here. Make sure you click the like and subscribe button and click the button you see in your chat, or if you're watching your replay, request.truka.com, and request the team to give you a ring to get your tickets coming up May 15, 16, and 17. I'll see you between here and there on all the places where we show up together. See you next week, same place, same time. Guys, be blessed. Happy Wednesday. Bye for now.